we need to talk about alignment. As a general disclaimer, alignment is a quagmire. It is fraught with issues, interpersonal issues between players, dungeon masters, game masters, etc. And everyone will have their own concept of how alignment should work and what alignment should be. In this video, we're going to look at best practices for use of alignment in your games. Whether you're a player or as a game master or dungeon master, we're going to look at various ways you can implement alignment in a way that works with the game instead of causing problems. First off, what is alignment? Well, Player's Handbook, the relevant for this video, the relevant passages are: alignment is a combination of two factors. One identifies morality, good, evil, or neutral, and the other describes attitude towards society and order, lawful, chaotic, neutral. The alignments describe the typical behavior of a creature with that alignment. Individuals may vary significantly from behavior, and few people are perfectly and consistently faithful to the precepts of their alignment. And in Pathfinder Core Rulebook, your character's alignment is an indicator of their morality and personality. Keep in mind that alignment is a complicated subject, and even acts that might be considered good can be used for nefarious purposes, and vice versa. Alignment is a hashtag. It's a keyword in a search. It's a bit of metadata to mark a character under a certain category. And that's basically it. Alignment carries with it a whole bunch of other implications depending on how you've implemented it in your game. All it is a keyword hashtag, much like a finesse is for certain weapons, or even cleric or fighter is for defining class features. Most everything of mechanical value in the game is a keyword of some type, whether it's an armor keyword, an item keyword, spell keyword. All of these help you to play the game. But on top of that, alignment is one of the things that straddles the personality build divide, where it's part of your build, it's part of it's a mechanic that you include onto your character, but then it also permeates into the character's personality, because it is describing your character's moral and ethical outlooks on society or in the world. And that gets us to why alignments. The hashtag of alignments is applied to the mechanics, and it informs character motivation. But we'll get to the character motivation more towards the end of this video. Right now, let's just look at the mechanics. The mechanics of alignment depends on the campaign, of course, but it is set up so that a good character, when I use character in this video, I'm talking about both player characters and NPCs. Pretty much anything with agency within the game is a character, whether the DM is moving that agency or one of the players is doing so. So, with alignment being a hashtag that is applied, or that is a mechanical hashtag, the mechanics of it reside in spell descriptions, spell effects, item effects, magical, almost always magical or item effects. You very rarely see anything that is related to non-magical effects within the game in regards to alignment, whether it's D&D or Pathfinder. Whether it's a sword that can only be used by characters of a particular alignment, or if it's a spell that can only be cast by characters of specific alignments. In some editions, extra damage is done to characters hit by the weapon or the spell that have an appropriate alignment as defined by the spell or in opposition to the alignment of the spellcaster. But mechanically, that's pretty much the only Y of alignment is spell effects, magical damage, whether it's from a item, sword, weapon, or from a spell or spell-like effect from a creature's inherent magical abilities. Perhaps damage reduction inherent. They take damage from specifically aligned items or spells, but otherwise that's it. So if your game doesn't include items or spells that affect alignments or can only be used by certain alignments, then your game probably doesn't need alignment. There's no real point in playing with alignment other than informing character motivation and the implications that come out of that socially, which again, we'll get to in just a little bit. But not all campaigns need alignment. If you're playing in a sword and sorcery Conan-esque low magic campaign, there's not much need for an alignment system. You may just have evil, right? Like there are things, magical effects, magical uses, and spells that deal evil damage, and evil damage couldn't be resisted by normal damage reduction or normal armor within that campaign. That's getting pretty house ruly, which is fine, and it suits such a campaign where it doesn't make much sense to have law, chaos, good, evil, all within a Conan campaign when it's not really needed. The swords and sorcery aspect of it is your character could be a complete jerk or be a really good person, but when you're fighting the evil sorcerer trying to summon something from outside space or from the depths of hell, well, that's gonna be the only time that evil comes in, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of other considerations surrounding it that really show the players and the DM that, oh, this is evil, and what else do you need? It's some horrible thing coming to eat the characters, and if the characters get eaten, then it will eat the rest of the city. Such is life. Higher magic campaigns is where alignment starts to come in as important, especially when you have an outer planes cosmology where there are good aligned beings and evil aligned beings and chaotic aligned beings and lawful aligned beings, and they all have their own machinations and designs on the material plane, and they are in effect in one way or another serving some deity that is also inherently of an alignment or uh, is almost the personification of alignment, and as are the demons and devils and angels, etc. They literally are manifestations of the alignment system. But again, if your campaign is not including any mechanical reasons or effects or protections that are caused by items, spells, etc., based on alignment, then it doesn't really matter to have alignment in your game. So then, where should alignment occur? So the alignment could just be a tool of the DM. Like, players don't really need to have to deal with alignment if your campaign is structured in such a way that alignment really doesn't matter to to them. They could be of any alignment serving a deity as a cleric, or any other class could serve whichever deity they choose, and they could get their class powers from it, from a cleric, from being a cleric. And alignment doesn't make a difference as long as they're following the tenets of that deity. Then they're fine. And if they do something against the tenets of the deity, then repercussions can occur. And you don't need alignment for all of that. But if you're having characters, follow or worship specific deities that have alignment requirements, then the players need to keep track of their alignments as well. Which is fine. But it's definitely when the players get involved that alignment becomes a problem. Unless you're also a DM that is using alignment poorly, then it's a problem from the DM side too. We're not going to make this all about the players being a problem. There are plenty problematic DMs as well. So again, in the low magic campaigns, or in campaigns where alignment really isn't important for the players, the DM can keep track. If it's important that things are evil or good or neutral, great, keep track of that. If it's important, like if you're running an ancient Egyptian campaign where, the goal of the pharaoh is to control or to contain the chaos and bring order to the land, then you can use the law and the chaos. And if you want to use all 9, then you can use all 9 alignments. And, it's almost like one of the personality tests. Also, once you decide on what level of alignment you're going to use, you can decide whether places or items have inherent alignments because of, similar to consecration and desecration spells, things like that. Lingering evil auras, lingering good enchantments. And of course, the goal is, the key is to have the players and the DM on the same page. So if the DM isn't going to use alignment, except for in the cases of, not of this earth entities, then let the players know, hey, don't worry about alignment. It's something that's really only on the DM side. It's only a mechanical thing that I need to keep track of. And your alignments, your puny mortal alignments, are too weak in the grand cosmic scheme of things to really matter anything. Your characters will ultimately appear neutral to all other entities until you've been corrupted and given power, or something like that. So now we get into how alignment, and this is coming back to informing character motivation. So let's say you're going to run a more standard campaign. You're going to use the 9 alignment system, and now you've got to implement it. There are 2 ways that alignment is usually implemented in a game, and that is either prescriptive or descriptive. Yeah, in my opinion and in my experience, prescriptive alignment use will just ruin your game. So what does prescriptive and descriptive mean? I get these terms from the use of dictionaries. There are some dictionaries which are prescriptive, and there are some dictionaries which are descriptive. Prescriptive dictionaries say this is how the word should be used, as if it's been decided, it's set in stone, and that's it. While descriptive dictionaries say this is how the word has been used. So, taking that into alignments, a prescriptive alignment system is one where some arbiter, usually the DM, says you have to act this way because of your alignment. Meaning, if your character wants to do something that is evil, but they have written chaotic good on their character sheet, then the DM says, well, you can't do that because your character is good. You can see the problem there, right? Telling players how they should act is bad. I don't think that's too controversial of a statement. But on the flip side, players will use but it's what my character would do, which is a weird at the table in reality invocation. It's a spell that they're trying to cast over the rest of the table to try to charm everyone into thinking that what they're doing is okay, when usually it's just a disruptive action. I mean, if you've got to say it's what my character would do, then you haven't been playing your character very well, because everybody else at the table will, to some degree, know how your character is played, know the personality of your character that you have given it, and so there's never any true need to say it's what my character would do. It's kind of like I didn't do it when nobody asked you if you did it, so obviously you did it. It's a preemptive invocation at the table to get away with something that you're probably just being a jerk, and you want to get away with being a jerk. Maybe not. There's probably a few occasions where it has been invoked as a legitimate excuse, a legitimate, hey, remember my character is the thief and likes to steal from other players, so like we established that at the very beginning of the game during session 0, and everybody was okay with it, so I don't know why you're looking at me weird now that I'm stealing from Rick's character. It is what my character would do. So, I mean, there's occasions, when the rest of the player, but usually, it's a bad sign, and that's prescriptive. Descriptive is my character goes and burns down that barn. Okay, the DM takes note of that. That was a little chaotic and a little evil. Just, they can file it away. Your character then goes and, helps rescue a bunch of kidnapped livestock. Rustled, maybe kidnapped isn't the right word, unless there's a very familiar relationship. Anyway, they bring back the farmer's livestock safely. Well, that's a little good. They don't ask for payment. Oh, that's pretty good, So your character ends up being neutral by that point in the game. But then if your character continues to do evil things, then your character becomes evil. And if they change their ways, they become neutral, then good, or, whichever way you are playing it. And so the idea is, with a descriptive game, the players take the alignment, put it on their character sheet, and they go, that's how I want to play my character. This is what I'm aiming for. I want my character to be like this. Every once in a while, my character will be a different alignment. They will have a mistake that that the player intentionally makes the character make, or they will become enraged and they will be blinded to the moral and ethical implications of their actions that they're about to commit. Things like that can happen, and it allows players to play their character in a more fluid and natural way. And that's my personal way of handling alignment at the table, is to allow each character or each player to decide what alignment they want their character to play, put that down on their character sheet, and then after that, I don't care. If their character has committed several evil acts and they try to get through, a circle of protection against evil, it might not let them through. I got to check because, it's been a while since any of my players have used circle protection from evil. And maybe it only works on outsiders or the like. No, 5th edition doesn't have a circle of protection against evil. Or good. Protection? Protection from good and evil. There we are. So yes, it's only specific creature types. It doesn't include mortals. One willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures. So it's just protection from good and evil. So, big deal. If you want more nuance in your game, you could have individual spells protection against good, evil, law, like earlier editions, and that would be a fine way to run the game. So, now that you've got it clear how you want to use alignment in your game, it still comes back to alignment is about morality and ethics, which is a difficult topic for anyone, even for people that study morality and ethics. So if you're the DM, it's good to come down in session 0 and go, these are morally evil and morally good acts. These are ethically lawful and ethically chaotic acts. And just give some clear, definitive examples. Like in my campaign, or in my campaigns, slavery is always evil. Period. Hands down. That's it. You can say, oh, but they lived at a different time, or my character. I go, your character doesn't have to be bothered with the fact. Your character can live in a society that has various forms of slavery, but it's evil. Like, the outsiders know it's evil. The angels, demons, and devils, they know it's evil. And it's one of their defining aspects. The good aligned outsiders are free, and the the evil aligned outsiders are either subjugating others or attempting to subjugate others, or or various other nasty things. But subjugation is usually right in the top of their list for evil outsiders, for what they want to do. It's either totally blood carnage or bending the will of individuals to their whim. So yeah, so I come down slavery. That's a clear indication of an evil act. Another use of alignment can be for character reputation. You can keep track of characters' alignments, and then the more known they are in a given region, the more they are associated with the alignment that they have. For example, if the characters have committed several good acts throughout the region, and then they enter into a neighboring village or town, you can use their current alignment as kind of a default shorthand for how the locals react to their characters. They may be known for the good acts that they've actually done, or they may be associated with other good deeds that are now being attributed to them. So the characters may get credit for things that they haven't even done, but because they're of a certain alignment, it's assumed that they are the characters that have done these good things. And then the same with evil or law or chaos. It can help provide a shorthand for the DM during the campaign in order to determine how locals react, whether local governments are interested in the character for good or ill, and other aspects such as that. So that's it for alignment. The idea is to have a clear path when you're starting a campaign, to know what alignment or how you want to implement alignment in your game, whether the players need to be involved in alignment or not, and if they are, then give some clear definitions of what is good, evil, law, chaos, and neutrality. The other thing is to avoid prescriptive alignment usage in your game at all costs, because once you do that, then players can start policing other players over their alignment. Your character wouldn't do that. Your character's good. that kind of thing. Which, I mean, if there's a gaming buzzkill, it's that. Descriptive can be problematic as well, but usually the DM or other players have to kind of work to make it problematic. Like, the DM can just sit back, keep notes, figure out, okay, this character is behaving in an evil manner for most of the game, so that character should be treated as evil. This character is good, but the DM could always just, ruin a session by sitting back and go, you know what, I'm trying to figure this out. How would I want everybody at the table to vote what they think everybody else's character's alignment is? That'll ruin the fun real quick. Or not. Maybe your table is made up of that kind of interesting, introspective people that are good at giving good feedback, great criticism, and are really supportive in making sure their characters and their fellow players are having a lot of fun. DMs, keep your notes to yourself. If a player asks, just tell them the truth. Go, well, the way I have your character tracked at this point. Your character's, a little neutral evil. Another aspect of alignment that you can then implicate is degrees of severity, meaning, most mortals in the common folk in medieval campaign, they're going to be set at neutral by most DMs. You could implement where if a nation is evil, then the common folk of the nation are neutral, mildly evil. And you could give it a rating of 1 to 3. So on a rating of 1, any alignment is pretty close to neutral. It's, it's within the common range of standard human behavior. One day, somebody's a jerk. The other day, they're really nice. Just having off days and on days, that kind of thing, without really thinking about the moral implication of every action that they're doing. And then a level 2 would be somebody who's, consistently good or evil or, chaotic or lawful. And then a level 3 is something that gets into the realm of, inherent, where it's a fantasy thing. They're beyond redemption type of evil or good, or, beyond corruption if they're good, beyond redemption if they're evil type of idea, which I would argue is only really in a fantasy world. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. If you have any ideas yourself about how alignment works or shouldn't work, or what the problems are in your game, go ahead and comment, and we'll see what the discussion brings. Thank you.